Hello everyone, today I'm going to show you how I created this simple die scene in Blender. I hope you'll learn something from this tutorial, and if you're interested with this project file, you can find it on my page. That's a great way to support me. Let's go to the tutorial. So when we start the tutorial, this is just a new Blend file that you'll find. The first thing that we need to do is we need to have a reference when we are modeling anything. So to do that, just go to Google, and you'll have a lot of references if you search for dices. And as you can see, we have different kinds of dices. There are a lot of dice that can be smaller or bigger than this. But for this tutorial, I'm going to use this 22mm for this tutorial. So what I'm going to do after this is just press in my keyboard. As you can see, this will slide out. This is the transform tab for any of the selected image. If I select this camera, as you can see, this is the transform property. If I select the sun, this is the transform property. So I'm just going to delete the sun since I'm not going to need it. After this, I'm going to select this box, and in the dimensions, I'm going to type 22mm. Just type 22 and then It will change it to meters, 22mm in every axis. After this, just scroll your middle mode and scroll it until you see the cube. And after this, I'm going to press tab in my keyboard to get inside of the edit mode, and then I'm going to press Ctrl R and give it a subdivision like this. Press Ctrl R again, give it subdivision like this, and also press Ctrl R, give it subdivision like this, and hit escape to to let go of this subdivision placement. After this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this face, and this face. Hold on Shift to select multiple faces. After you have selected this, press Ctrl I to invert the selection, and then press X and then faces. Now we have only this face. After this, what I am going to do is I'm going to go to this modifier properties, and I'm going to give it a mirror modifier, and I'm going to activate the X, the Y, and the Z axis. The reason that I'm doing this mirror modifier is, for example, so if I press G, as you can see, whenever I'm moving this one, it's going to be applied on those mirrored faces. So that's the function of this mirror modifier. It's going to make things a lot easier. After this, what I am going to do is I'm going to select this vertex. But before that, let me get out of the edit mode by pressing tab. As you can see, the scale is not applied. So we need to apply the scale whenever we are doing modeling. So I'm going to press Ctrl A, and then I'm going to apply the scale. So if I get inside the edit mode by pressing tab, we have something like this. I'm going to press Ctrl R and give it subdivision like this. Press Ctrl R, give it subdivision like this, and also give it subdivision like this right here by pressing Ctrl R. I'm going to select this one, right click, and bevel vertices. If you scroll middle mouse upward and downward, you can increase the number of subdivisions added. So I'm just going to make it one subdivision like this, and I can let go. After that, if I scroll this tab right here, you can see the property of this bevel. You can see the widths, the segments, and everything. So make sure that the segment is 2. I think we cannot make the width greater than this. I mean greater than right here, since we have a vertex right here. It will limit the bevel. So what I'm going to do is just click outside. After this, I'm going to press A and then press M, and I'm going to select this merge by distance. When you do that, as you can see, this is now merged. Let me select this one, control click right here. It will select the consecutive edges, and also control click right here, and then control click right here also. After this, press Ctrl B to bevel it. We have something like this. You can scroll your middle mouse upward and downward to control the number of subdivisions. In this case, I want 2 subdivisions. So I'm going to make it something like this. Yep. I think we have something like this. I think I like what I'm getting. After this, let me go to vertex selector mode. I'm going to clean up this mesh. We have some weird shapes right here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this one, and I'm going to select this one also. And after I've done that, select this one last, the center one. Just press in and select this at last, merge by last. We have something like this. And also what I'm going to do next, I'm going to select this one right here, press M and select this at last. Select this one later, press M and then at last. And also select this one later, press M at last. After this, I'm going to select this one again, select this one, press M. I'm going to choose at center for this case, so that it will be merged at center. And just repeat this process for this for the other ones also. Press M and at center, select this one. Just hold on Shift to select multiple edge or vertices. Press M and then at center. Sorry, just make sure that everything is deselected. So just select this one later, press M and then at center. After I've done that, I'm going to select this one, press M at last. Select this one later, press M and then select this at last. And also repeat this process right here. I'm going to select this vertices by holding on Shift and then press X, and these are vertices. So we have something like this. So I'm going to give it a subdivision modifier. So just go to add modifier and give it subdivision modifier, something like this. I'm going to give it a subdivision number of level of viewport to 2. And after this, just get out of the edit mode, just right click and then shade smooth. So we have something like this. I'm going to dissolve some of, I'm going to select this one, press X and then dissolve edge so that we will have a clear geometry. After this, let me apply this mirror modifier, as you can see this one. But if you are on edit mode, for example, like this, if you are on edit mode and if you try to apply it, you can't apply it. So in order to apply any modifiers, you need to get out of this edit mode. So just make sure that you are on object mode. Just hit tab to switch between edit mode and tab mode. That's the shortcut for it. So just get out of the edit mode, just hit apply. When I do that, if I get inside of the edit mode by pressing tab, this is what my geometry is looking like. I think it's really simple and it's good. We don't have that much of problem without geometry. The next thing that we need to do is we need to create those numbers. So to do that, what the concept behind a dice is, opposite faces, the summation of the opposite faces should be 7. So for example, if I use 6, the number 6 right here, as you can see, this is 6, so the opposite face should be 1, since the summation of those opposite faces should be 7. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to right click and then select this bevel vertices, and I'm going to make it somewhere around here. You can scroll your middle mouse upward and downward to increase the number of subdivision or decrease it, but I'm going to use 3 number of subdivision for this case, like this. As you can see, I'm using 3 number of subdivision. And you can just slide this like this to see the properties right here. Maybe let me make it 2 or something. Yep, I think 2 is good. Yeah, let me make it 2. So as I have said earlier, the summation of those opposite faces should be 7. So I'm going to use 5 for this one. So I'm going to select this one, select this one, select this one, select this one, hold on shift, select multiple edges, vertices, select this one, and after this I'm going to use 2 for this one. So I'm going to select this one and select this one, and then next I'm going to hold shift R in my keyboard. When I do that, it's going to duplicate the last operation that we did. And also I'm going to select this one, I'm going to select 3 right here, and for the opposite part I'm going to select 4. So I'm going to select like this, and I'm going to type shift R in my keyboard. It's going to duplicate or repeat the last operation that we did, which is beveling the vertices. I think I'm liking what I'm getting. So basically guys, we have finished creating those bevels. So the next thing that we need to do is I'm going to select one of this. I'm going to type C in my keyboard to create circle select. So I'm going to select this H. And before anything, let me go to edit and then preferences. In the add-ons, type loop tools. Make sure that this tool as this add-on is activated. And after you have activated that, just type C and then select everything. And then I'm going to right click, and then as you can see I have loop tools, and I'm going to select this circle. When I do that, it's now changed to circle. So after this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select the center part, select the center part again, select every part of the center for the bevels that we have created. After this, what you can do is just type shift R in your keyboard. It's going to duplicate the last operation, which is creating the circle. After this, what I'm going to do is let me select this unselected part, and I'm going to type Control and Numpad plus to select, the circles that we have created. As you can see, now everything is selected. After this, let me change this one to face selection mode, and then after this, just right click and then select this extrude along normals. It's going to extrude it along the normals. As you can see, it's extruding it along the normals. To see everything clearly, let me disable this subdivision surface. Just let me get out of the edit mode, just right click and shade flat to see everything clearly. And just get inside the edit mode again, and this is what we are getting. You can press Alt S to scale them along the normals. As you can see, you can use Alt S to do that. I think something like this. And after this, let me change this transform pivot point to individual edges, and after that I'm going to press S to scale it. It's going to scale it according to their origin points. And if I activate the subdivision surface, as you can see, I think I like what I'm getting. Let me disable this show overlays and just get out of the edit mode by pressing tab and right click and then shade smooth. After this, let me enable this show overlays again. Let me get inside of the edit mode again. Let me disable this subdivision surface for now, and I'm going to hit Control and Numpad plus to increase the selection. After this, let me go to this material properties. I'm going to hit plus, and then I'm going to hit assign so that this will be assigned to the selector part, and I'm going to hit new, and I'm going to change the base color to black, something like this, and I'm going to decrease the roughness maybe to 0.06 or something. Make sure that this is assigned. So if I go to this EV material preview, and let me see what I'm getting. As you can see, this is what I'm getting. To see the geometry properly, let me activate the subdivision surface, but the placement of the black part is not correct. To solve this problem, what you can do is, let me go to this V4 shading, select this edge, and then control click this right here. As you can see, it's going to select the consecutive edge. So by this method, just select the edge like this, just control click right here. Sorry, before that, just shift click right here, and then control click, control click, control click. When you are changing to the other part, just shift click right here, and then control click, control click, control click, shift click, control click, control click. I think you get the concept right. Just select every part like this. As you can see, everything is selected. As you can see, after this, just right click and then select this edge crease and just drag it like this, and you can control the factor right here. If it's 0, it's going to be as the previous one. If it's 1, it's going to create that crease. So if you go to this EV material preview, and if I disable this show overlays, you can see everything is looking good, but we have some kind of shading problems. To solve that, what you can do is just go to this object data properties, and in the normals, make sure that you have activated this auto smooth. When you do that, we don't have that shading problem anymore. Go to this material properties. Let me adjust the white part of this mesh. All I'm going to do is I'm going to decrease this roughness. I'm not going to make this complex. After this, let me create the surrounding in the lighting. So just let me go to this face, press GZ, and then move it somewhere around here. Yep, after this, press Shift A, and I'm going to add a plane. The plane is going to be like this. I think the size of the plane is enough, but what I'm going to do is just get inside the edit mode by pressing tab. I'm going to select this edge, and then I'm going to press E to extrude it. As you can see, it's extruding it, but it does not have any fixed axis, so I'm going to press Z to fix it on the Z axis, and let go like this. Just click somewhere. After this, let me select this edge, and I'm going to press Ctrl B, and I'm going to bevel it. Scroll your middle mouse upward to increase the number of subdivision. Something like this will be good, 8 or something. Get outside of the edit mode by pressing tab, and then right click, and then select this shade smooth. It's going to make it smooth. After this, press 0 in your numpad to go inside of the camera mode. We have already camera in the scene, so I'm going to select this camera, and I'm going to go to view, navigation, and then select this walk navigation. You can right click and you can assign shortcut right here. I have already given it a shortcut, which is V. So just give it a shortcut that you want, but make sure that that shortcut is not already used. I think V is not used, so I have given it the shortcut of V. So whenever I click V, I can go to this walk navigation automatically, and I can navigate using W to go to forward, S backward, A to the left, and D to the right. Q downward and E upward. This is just a basic game navigation. By using this, you can navigate through your scene very easily, like this. After this, let me select this camera. I think the camera is already selected. Let me change the focal length to 100 millimeters, like this. After this, let me change this resolution to 1080 on both X and Y axis. And then just navigate like this and get closer to it, like something like this. After it, let me duplicate this dice. In the final scene, I have around 6 number of dices. So let me select this one. Let me go to this solid preview, and I'm going to press Alt D to duplicate it like this. Alt D again, just duplicate it 6 times. Alt D again, Alt D, and then Alt D. I think 6 will be good. After this, create version among this dices. So what you can do is you can just press RZ and then 90. You can rotate one of this like this, and then press RX and then 90 like this. And also I can select this one, press RY and then 90 degrees like this. Select this one, press RZ and then 120 degrees like this. Yeah, press RZ. You can just do it manually also like this. Just create those variations that are needed. After this, let me give the floor a texture. So I'm just going to select it. To see what you have selected, just as navigate outside of the camera like this. This floor is already selected. So in the material properties, I'm going to hit new. We have a basic principle setup. To see this right here, we have this shader editor right here. In case if this is not visible for you, just change this one to shader editor right here. You can change this one to shader editor, and you can see this. After this, let me go to edit and then preferences. In the add-ons, type node wrangler and make sure that this add-on is activated. This will be useful for this texturing. So just select this principal base diff and hold Ctrl Shift and T in your keyboard, and this folder will pop out, and go select the texture that you have downloaded for this one. I will place the link in the description below. This is the texture that you will find after you have extracted the zip file that you have downloaded. So I'm going to use the color. I can hold on Ctrl to select multiple maps. So I'm going to select the displacement and the normal GL and the roughness. After I have done that, I'm going to select this principal texture setup. When I do that, this node wrangler is automatically going to create the node setup for us. And then if I go to EV material preview to see what I have got, I'm having something like this. So I think this is a little bit too big, right? So what I'm going to do is just go inside the edit mode by pressing tab, press A, and then press U, and then unwrap. Make sure that this is unwrapped. But before anything, make sure that the scale is applied. If in case you have changed the scale of the plane, to apply it, press Ctrl A, apply the scale. After that, just press go here inside of the edit mode, press H, select everything, U, and then unwrap. This will UV unwrap your mesh. To control the scale, what you can do is we can use two methods. The first one is if I change this one to UV editor, we can see the UV map of this one. As you can see, this is the UV map. So if I press H, select everything, and if I press S, I can scale it like this. I can control the scale on the UV map. And also, if I go to this shader editor, we have in the mapping node, we have a parameter called the scale. We can control the scale like this. For example, if I increase the X value, as you can see, I'm increasing it, or I can decrease it, or I can press Shift A and then in the search tab type value and place this one. Sorry, press Shift A and then value like this and plug this one right here. And I can use 5 or something. I can control the scale, overall like this. So if I press 0 on my numpad, this is the texture from the camera view. I think it's a little bit too big, right? So I can make this one to 10. Yep, maybe 10 will be good for this case. After let us create the lighting. To do that, the first thing that we need to do is go to render properties, and I'm going to change the render engine to cycles, and I'm going to change the device to GPU compute. If you have a GPU compute, it's going to make it a little bit faster. And in the sampling, I'm going to activate this denoise, and I'm going to change the path to albedo and normal. After this, I'm going to go to this color management. I'm going to change this one to filmic and make the look to medium high contrast. After this, I'm going to go to this render view. As you can see, we have a slight environment lighting that's coming from everywhere with the strength of 1 and with the color of this dark blue. But I'm not going to use this environment lighting, so I'm going to keep this as 0. After this, let me go to the solid preview. Let me add some lights. So I'm going to press Shift A. I'm going to go to light, and I'm going to insert a point light like this. As you can see, we have a point light. I'm going to decrease the radius to something like this. We can adjust this one later based on what we are viewing in the viewport render. So after this, go to the top view, press G to move it to something like this. Let me press GZ and place it something like this so that we can see it. And I'm going to press Shift D to duplicate it and place it right here, and then Shift D and place one of the lights right here. I'm going to use 3-point light to create the lighting. After this, I'm going to give it a constraint. So just select this one of the lights, go to this constraint properties, and I'm going to select this track 2. After this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to select one of the dice which I want this to be constrained. So just click this eyedropper, and I'm going to select this one. So for example, if I move this one, press G. If I move it, as you can see, it's going to be moved according to this, as you can see. So that's the function. For example, if you change this to area, whenever you move it, the direction of this light is going to be rotated according to the location that we are placing it. As you can see, it's really handy. But for this case, I'm going to change this 2-point light. Let me select this one and let me go to constraint. Let me add track 2, and let me give this one yep, and also duplicate this process for this one. After this, I'm going to press 0 on my numpad, and I can go to this render view. So this is the lighting that I am getting. I can change the intensity of each of the lights. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this one, press GY. I'm going to select this plane, press GX, and I'm going to move it to something like this. I think it's, yep, maybe something like this would be good. And then go to the top view. I'm going to select this one and move it to somewhere around here. Press 0 on my numpad, and then press GZ, GY, I want to place the light like this. Press GX. Something like this will be good. Yep. After this, let me change the intensity to 3.5. I want this to be 3.5. And maybe it's a little bit too far. So what I'm going to do is go to the top view. Let me make it closer like this. Press 0. I think this is what I'm getting. To control our lighting clearly, what you can do is just change this one to a 3D viewport. And I can work right here. I can just preview what I'm getting right here, but I can work right here. So what I'm going to do is let me select this one and let me change this one to 2. Let me change the color to a little bit something like this. Yep, I think this is good. After this, let me select this camera like right here and give to camera properties and activate this depth of field and select the object, the focus object. So I'm going to select this font one. I think I like this, but I can increase the f-stop to increase the focus area because it's a little bit too much. What I'm getting is a little bit too much, so maybe a 15 will be good for this thing. Maybe 30. Yep, something like this. After we just play with the slice to create the lighting that you need. I'm going to move this one to somewhere around here. Let me select this one, move it something like this. Let me select this one. Yep, move it to like this. Maybe something like this would be good. Lighting is just an experimentation, so you need to experiment until you get the lighting that you need or you want. Press GZ, maybe something like this. Maybe let me decrease the size. Press GZ again. I think I like what I'm getting. For the flooring, I can select this floor and let me drop this like this. I can make the scale to 0.1 or something so that it won't be that much intense. Maybe 0.05. 0.005. Yep. I think this is also too much. 0.001. Yep, something like this will be good. I don't think the mid-level would have that much change. So guys, this is what we get for the final result. So guys, this is all for today. I hope you have learned something from this video. Please don't forget to like and subscribe so that I can keep making videos like this in the future, and see you in the next tutorial.